Hello everyone, welcome back to the classes. So in the last video, we talked about class. Today, we are going to talk about a new concept, that is constructor. You might have heard about this word constructor many times, but till now we have not used in our programs. So now we'll understand what is a constructor and how we are going to use this in our programs. So let us move. So what is a constructor? So a constructor is a member method having same name as its class name and have no return data type, not even void. And this is called a constructor. So constructor is nothing but it is a method. Method means functions. You have written many functions in class 9 and 10. Public void, and now in class 10 we have understood that we can also write return type. Instead of void we can write int, byte, double, float, etc. as per the program. So constructor is nothing but it is a function, but it is a special function. It is a function, but it is a little bit different than a normal function. What is the difference? It has same name as its class name. Means the class name and the constructor name should match. Again, it will have no return data type, not even void. So we used to write void in class 9. In class 10 we have studied that we can also return values, and when we will return value we have to write the data type of the return value. It may be int, byte, short, float, double, it can be anything, any primitive data type. But here it will not have any return data type. Means a constructor will never return a value. Okay, a constructor will never return a value. If it will not return, means there will be no return data type, and also will not write void. So there are two things which makes a normal function become a constructor. That is, it will have the same name as the class name and it will have no return data type, not even void. So why we are going to use constructor? So we are going to use constructor to initialize the variables, instance variables. So we'll be using constructor to initialize the instance variables. Instance variables means the member variables, the variables of the class. That is the variables which are declared within the class but outside the functions. These are the member variables or the instance variables. We studied about this in the last class. So if you want to initialize these variables, means give value to these variables, the class variables, the variables that are declared in the class, the member variables, then we have to use construct. So when an object is created, the constructor is executed automatically. We'll come to that. What does that mean? All constructors are methods, but all methods are not constructors. Okay, constructors are nothing but it is a method or function, but it is little bit special. Why it is special? Because it has same name as the class name and it has no return data type, not even void. But all methods are not constructors. Okay, the method can only become a constructor if it has same name and it has no return data type or void. Okay. So now let us come to the syntax of the constructor. You already know the syntax of method. That is access specifier, which can be public, private or protected, and they are optional. You may write, you may not write. Then we have the modifier. This is also optional. Then we have the return data type. Then we have the function name and we have the parenthesis. And within curly brackets, this is nothing but the body of the function. Now, to convert this to a constructor, what we have to do? We have to do two things. First one is the function name should be equal to the class name. Second, no return data type. That means this part is not there. In the constructor, there is no return data type. Okay, not even void. We will not write void also. And this function name should match the class name. For example, if the class name is DNM, then here the function name will also be DNM. If you don't write the same name as the class name, it will not become a constructor. Okay, clear? So why are we going to use a constructor? So inside a function, a normal function which we used to write in class 9 and also in class 10, what a function can do? A function can be used to take input, it can be used to do processing, and it can be used to do output. That means inside function we used to input values. It may be in form of parameter, it may be in form of scanner, buffer. So we used the functions to take input. Everything was written inside a function, right? Then processing means all types of calculations. Everything was done within function only. And then all the print statements were also within the function. Okay? Even the declaration of variables can be within the function. Last class only we studied that declaration of variables can also be outside the function. That is something different. But we can also declare variables inside the function. Okay? So function can do all the three important things. A program is made up of three important things. That is input, processing and output. All programs have these three parts. That is input, processing and output. Similarly, all the function also have these three parts. So what a constructor can do? A constructor can be used for input. A constructor can be used for processing. A constructor can be used for output. That means a constructor does the same work what a normal function also does. Okay, both are same. The only difference is this function has the capability to return a value. Used to write the return statement, right? In the function chapter we studied about return statement. So one function can return value to another function. This is not possible by a constructor. A constructor can never return a value. Since it will not return a value, there will be no return data type. Also, you will not write void. You will not write void. This is the main difference between function and constructor. Or else, a function can do input, processing and output, and a constructor can also do input, processing and output. But in our board exam, we will get constructor question only to do one thing, that is to input. So we will not be using constructor for processing and for output. We will be using constructor to do only one thing, that is input. So today we will learn how to take input using constructors. There is another sentence. When an object is created for a class, a constructor will execute automatically. What does that mean? I will come in a later stage. When I will be doing the program, I will explain that thing in the program itself. Okay? So there are two types of constructor. Non-parameterized constructor, also known as default constructor, and parameterized constructor. So there are two types of constructor, non-parameterized constructor and parameterized constructor. So what does that mean? The constructor in which no parameter or argument is present is known as non-parameterized constructor or default constructor. If the parameter is present, then it is known as parameterized constructor. So in the function syntax, we have this parameter list. So a constructor also has a parameter list because it will not have only the return data type, or else the syntax is same. The function syntax and the constructor syntax is same. Only it will not have return data type, not even void, and it will have the same function name, or else the syntax is same. So this parameter may be empty. If you are not getting any input, it will be empty. If you are getting input, you will have some arguments. That is the parameter input. If there is no parameter input, it is known as a default or non-parameterized constructor. If there is parameter input, means for example here, if I have written int a comma int b, that means something is present, we are getting some input. Here the constructor will be known as a parameterized constructor. If it is empty, it is known as non-parameterized constructor. If there are some values to be taken from the user or from another function, you may get value from another function also, right? Which happened in function chapter. A function can also give value to another function. So a function can get value from either a user or from a function. Okay. So similarly here, It can be empty, means the constructor is not getting any value, or it may have some parameter. So if it is empty, it is known as a non-parameterized or default constructor. If parameter list is present, it is known as a parameterized constructor. So in board exam, we will get two types of questions. The question may ask you to use a parameterized constructor, or a question may ask you to use a non-parameterized constructor. So we will study about both. So this is a program where we are going to add two numbers and print it. It is a very simple program where you are using a non-parameterized constructor. So this is a non-parameterized constructor. Okay. What is int abc? These are instance variables or member variables. These are instance variables because these are declared within the class but outside the functions. These are not local variables. These are global variables. Okay. Here abc are instance variables. You can see this DNM. This is the non-parameterized constructor. So construct is nothing but it is a special function. You can see there is no return data type, not even void. I have not written access special modifier also because they are optional. If you want, you may write according to the question. If you want, you can write public DNM also. Okay, it is fine. But generally we don't write. So if you skip it also, it is fine because they are optional to write. You may write access specifier, you may write modifier, but you cannot write void. If you write void, it will not become a constructor. It will become a normal function like public void sum, public void display. These are normal functions. Constructor is a special function. It will have no return data type or void. And see, the class name is DNM. Therefore here the function name means the constructor name is also DNM. It should match. If you write here DNM and if you write here SNM, then it will not become a constructor. Okay, the constructor should have same name as the class name. If here class name is DNM, here the constructor name will also be DNM. And why it is a non-parameterized constructor? Because you can see the parameter list is empty. The parameter list is empty. So why do we use a constructor? You can use a constructor for input, for processing, for output, for anything. Okay, but in board exam we generally get to take input. So here we are taking input. So what is this input? If you can remember in chapter 4, we studied about input can be either parameter or initialization method. That means if you have the value, we'll use initialization method. If you don't have the value, then we'll be using parameter method. Means if you don't have the value, you have to ask value from the user. If you want to ask the value from the user, you have to use parameter input. If you have the value, then you will use initialization input. So here assume that I already knew that the value of A should be 5 and the value of B should be 82. Okay. Therefore, I have taken initialization input. So here the non-parameterized constructor is used for initialization input. Then since this is a global variable, so if I have stored 5 and 82 in A and B, it can be accessed by other function also because the scope of ABC is a global variable. The scope is throughout the program, means the value of ABC can be used throughout the program. So already we have the value of A as 5 and B as 82. Then in the next function what I am doing? I am adding those values, means 5 plus 82. So what will be stored in C? 87. Then I am displaying it. So what will do? It will print the value. That is 87. Clear? It is a simple program. Now we'll see an example of parameterized constructor. So here you can see in the previous case the parameter was empty, but here the parameter list is present. Because here we don't know the value, we need value from the user. So here the value of x and y will be taken from the user. And when he gives some value to x and y, the value of x and y will be stored in A and B respectively. Then we'll add it and then we'll print it. The only difference is first was the case of initialization, second is the case of parameter. If parameter is present, it is known as a parameterized constructor. If parameter is not present, it will be called as a non-parameterized constructor. In board exam, it will be mentioned that if you need to use a parameterized or a non-parameterized constructor to write a program. So now we'll do a small constructor program. Before that, we'll see what are the characteristics of a constructor. You may get short question out of this. The characteristics of a constructor are the class name and constructor name must be same. There must not be any return data type, not even void. That is, a constructor can never return a value. Constructor is invoked automatically when an object of a class is created. Okay, what does that mean? I will come while I will explain the program. It is used to initialize the instance variables of the class. So in the previous program, we saw that ABC were the instance variables, and what we did, we gave values to that, either through parameter or through initialization method. So giving value to the variables is known as initialization. So constructor is generally used to initialize the instance variables of a class. Constructor should be declared in the public section of the class. That means the access specifier of a class should be always public, or else there might be errors while using the constructor. Like any other function, they can asset parameter or argument. If they asset parameter argument, it will be known as a parameterized constructor. Default constructor, they don't have any parameter, that is, it will be empty. If it is empty, it is a default or non-parameterized constructor. A class can have more than one constructor, and if there is more than one constructor, it is known as constructor overloading. So we will be studying about constructor overloading in details in the next video, when we will be studying about overloading. We will study about both function overloading and constructor overloading. If no constructor is present in the class, the compiler provides a default constructor automatically. So if you have not written a constructor, the compiler will create a constructor automatically. So in class 9 and 10, have you ever written a constructor? No, we never wrote a constructor. But actually, what was happening? The Java compiler was creating a constructor. That means without a constructor, a program will never work. All programs have constructor. It may be a default constructor, it may be a parameterized constructor. But a constructor is always present in a program. But for example, if you have not written a constructor, like in class 9 until now, we never wrote a constructor, right? But the program were working because if you have not written a constructor, the Java compiler will automatically create a constructor for you. Okay, and those types of constructor are known as default constructor or non-parameterized constructor. So Java will never create a parameterized constructor. The Java compiler will create a default or non-parameterized constructor automatically and initialize the values with the default values. Okay, for example, you have written int abc, the instance variables, but you have not written constructor. So what will happen? It will create a constructor automatically, and it will give a as 0, b as 0 and c as 0, the default values. So what are these default values? If you can remember, in class 9 chapter 3, there was a table where we studied about all the default values of different data types. Okay, and there I had told that we'll use this more when we'll be studying constructor. So you have to again revise that table. Like the int, the default value is 0, byte default value is 0, short default value is 0, long default value is 0, L, float 0.0f, double 0.0d, string it is null, char it is null, boolean it is false. So you have to remember the default values. Means if you don't write a constructor, the compiler will create a constructor automatically and give the default values to the instance variables. Clear? Okay, now we'll move to a constructor program. So here the program is write a class rectangle which have the member variables double L, double B, double area, and member methods rectangle, void calculate and void display. Also write a main method to create an object and call the above methods to find the area of the rectangle. Okay. So here first we need to take a class whose name will be rectangle. It is mentioned the class name as rectangle. So we have created a class. Then we have member variables. That means these are the variables of the class. These are global variables. Double L, B and area to store the length, to store the breadth, then store the area respectively. So double L, B and area. Done. Then we have three member methods that are rectangle, void calculate and void display. See, it is only mentioned rectangle, no void rectangle or any data type rectangle. Why? Because see, here it is written, it is a parameterized constructor. It is mentioned that this is nothing but it is a parameterized constructor. So here we will be using constructor for input. In 99% of the program we will be using constructor for input only. Okay, so it is a parameterized constructor. Okay, so we'll come to that. Then we have another method, that is void calculate and void display. We also have to write a main method. And what will the main method do? It will be used to create an object and call the above methods. Okay, so we will be doing this program using parameter method. So in the last video I have explained you the three-step input method. Means whenever you are using parameter in function related question, first you have to take input in main function, then you have to send the values to the actual function where you need to take the input. Like here you have to take the input in the constructor rectangle, and third you have to put these values in the original variable, and here the original variables are L and B. So first you have to take input where? In the main function. So let us take two inputs, one for the length and one for the breadth. Let it be P and Q. So now what you have to do? You have to call the constructor, because here we are going to take input the constructor. So we will call the constructor and send the values to the constructor. So how to call the constructor? So here in the presentation I have mentioned that constructor is invoked automatically when an object is created. So now what you have to do? You have to create an object. Whenever you want to write a constructor, you have to create an object, or else you cannot write a constructor. So what we will do? We will create an object first. And the syntax object is class name, object name, let it be A, equal to new class name parenthesis. Clear? Can you see this? It is matching with whom? It is matching with this. So here you are doing nothing but you are calling the constructor actually. So in function chapter also you used to write this, but we never wrote a constructor. So what happened? It created constructor automatically. But here, since you have written the constructor, when you write this line, it will jump straight to the constructor. So here actually we are doing what? We are calling the constructor. We don't have to write a dot rectangle again. This is wrong. Okay, we will not call the constructor like this, like normal function. Here only the constructor is called automatically. But this is a parameterized constructor, means we need to send some values. So what values? We'll send the values P and Q. We are sending some values, that means you have to keep it. So again we have to take two variables. Let it be double X and double Y. But we have to store the length and breadth in the actual variables, which are L and B. Clear? And this is nothing but this is a three-step input. First you have to take input in main function, then call the function and send the values, then store the values in the original variable. So here the first job is done, that is the parameter is constructed to input length and breadth. We have done it. Then in calculate you have to find the area. So how to find the area? Formula is area equal to length into breadth. Since L and B are global variables, it can be used throughout the program. Okay, we can use throughout the program. Then we have to print the value, that is print the area. Print ln area. Okay, done. We have taken the input, we have calculated the area, we have displayed it. And in the main function it has asked to create an object, we have created an object. When we created the object, we have already called the constructor. So what is left? We have to call the other methods also. So how to call? Object name dot method name. Object name dot method name. Clear? Now this program is completely correct. So now we'll run this program. So here you can see it is asking the input here only. Okay. So actually in BlueJ it will ask you to give input 2 times. So in the first case, this is the first case. Okay, this is the first time it is asking input. Ignore this. Okay, just give any value. Just give any value. Now we'll run the main function. Here we are going to give the actual value. So this happens only practically. This is the disadvantage of BlueJ. You have to enter 2 times. Okay. So ignore the first one. Just give any value. But actually we are going to run this main function. Okay. This is the way we are going to do in BlueJ. Okay. So click main function. Now it is asking an input. Now give some value. For example, 5 and 10. Okay. So what should be the output? The output should be 50.0. Got your answer? So how this program worked? So we called the main function, we gave the value 5 and 10. You created the object and called the constructor rectangle. And you sent the value of P and Q, that is 5 and 10. So value of P was stored in X, value of Q was stored in Y. That is 5 and 10 was stored in X and Y. And finally, you stored the value of X in L and value of Y in P. This is called a 3-step input method. Okay, if you remember, I have explained this in functions, the 3-step input method. Remember, don't use scanner in constructor program, because if you use scanner to take input, then you need not write this parameter. So it will not become a parameterized constructor. Okay, if the question is given to write a parameterized constructor, parameter has to be written. Don't take the input in scanner. If you take the input in scanner, then this parameter is not required. Then it will become wrong. Because if you don't write the parameter, it will become a non-parameterized or default constructor. Okay, so here you will only follow the 3-step input method. Okay, while writing parameterized constructors. Correct? Understood? And then after the constructor work was over, it returned back. We called calculate and we calculated the area. We called display and we displayed the area. And now the program is over. Understood? So in the future videos, we are going to solve more programs related on functions and constructors. So as we solve all the important questions, we will get to understand what types of questions are coming in the board exam. So this completes the topic constructor. In the next video, we are going to understand about the topic overloading. And we will be studying about 2 types of overloading, that is method overloading and constructor overloading. Enjoy your week. Have a nice day. Thank you.